Hey guys, today is our first podcast and it is on reflection. And for this podcast, we have with us the managing director of Victor Manickam Knowledge Group, Deveeka Mahajan. She's one of the most intelligent, soulful, beautiful people that I know.
Thank you, Chandni.
Thank you for
Thank
coming.
you for being my learner and now my inspirer on this podcast. Okay, let's go. Ask.
So, since we're talking about reflection, first can you give us an idea of what does that mean? Like we've all heard things like the world outside of us is a reflection of whatever's happening inside of us. But what does that even mean?
So you're right, like we've heard this ever since we've been little that whatever's happening outside of you is a reflection of who you are inside. But nobody talks to us about how do we actually measure that? Is there a quantifiable way to know that what's happening inside? Because it's such a vague thing if you just listen to it. That means jo bhi bhag raha hai, हाँ, मेरे अंदर ही चल रहा है. It makes absolutely no sense when you listen to it for the first time. However, what we've done is we've put it in such simple, measurable terms that you look at what you like, you look at what you dislike, and you see how what you like and what you dislike have created a reality for you. And through that reality, everything that's happening outside, right? This is your filter.
Okay.
So you're taking in everything that's happening outside through this filter.
Mm-hmm.
Why was this filter created in the first place?
So when you say filter, you mean like a pair of glasses,
Like
through which we kind of look at the world.
A pair of glasses.
Okay.
And each person has distinct pairs of glasses. Not one person
Okay.
wears the same glasses. You can have similar views, but you'll never wear the same glasses. Because all of us create our view from our likes and dislikes.
Okay.
And each one's view is an amalgamation of multiple things. So distinct views create that filter for you to look at the world. But why was that world created for you in the first place?
Exactly what I was going to ask. Why was it created?
I actually don't know.
Okay. Well, okay. So if we all have different views, right? So you're saying because we have different likes and dislikes, that's why we have different views of the world?
Yeah.
And through those views, we see this world.
Yeah.
Okay. So then my question is that I still don't understand how things are a reflection of us. Because like a common problem that a lot of people go through, someone has cheated them of money or in a relationship or various aspects of cheating go on in this world. And if you're saying that I'm a reflection of that, so are you trying to say that like all of us who've been cheated in some way are cheaters?
It's an interesting question. Okay. What we do as human beings is that we look at the doing and interpret the being.
Okay.
Allow me to explain. I know it's like that of a statement. But we often look at the other person and then we say, but I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But I would not do that. I would not cheat someone. I would not hurt someone. I would not do all of those things. Is a certain moral compass or something that you would like to believe about yourself.
Absolutely.
Correct? However, for a moment, okay, remove the doing. Okay, and look at the being. All of us have distinct experiences, and if you'll notice, all human beings have a range of experiences that they have. Like you have hurt. Have you felt hurt?
Of course.
You felt betrayed.
Mm-hmm.
You felt extremely committed to something.
Absolutely.
You felt extreme amounts of pain.
Absolutely.
You felt ecstatic, joy, love, happiness, acceptance. You felt a range of emotions, right? But we as a society do not talk about the experience of the person, we talk about the act of the person. And we judge the act of the person.
Okay.
Okay, go a little deeper. If I'm looking at a murderer, okay, for a moment remove the act.
Okay.
What do you think is happening?
They're extremely angry or hurt or betrayed about something, and possibly they're taking revenge, or possibly they have a lack of something and they think it's unfair, and that's why they may be doing this.
Yeah. Now, beautiful. Answer this. Have you felt so hurt that you wanted to take revenge? Have you felt so angry that you wanted to take revenge?
Yes, but that doesn't mean I have, right?
Have you not?
Not by like killing someone.
Exactly. Why I said we judge the act.
Okay.
We say, मैं तो वो नहीं करूँगा. But क्या हमने ये किया है? हम बोलते हैं हमने मर्डर नहीं किया. ठीक है. But क्या आपने किसी का दिल दुखाया?
जी.
Have you consciously abandoned someone because you were so angry with them?
Not in my knowing, but I know that I have, at least choti cheezon mein with my friends, or with people in general, even with our parents or our cousins or whatever. We're pissed off at them and we go and tell on them, or stupid things like that. Yes, wo hota hai. I think everyone does that sometimes. Yeah.
Every person has distinct expressions of taking out the same anger and the same revenge.
Okay.
Anger and revenge exist.
Yeah.
As extremely natural states for human beings. But we think because we do not commit murder, we have the right to judge murder. I'm not saying murder is a good thing, by the way. That's not the conversation here. Neither I'm not defending murder, and I'm not condoning murder either. But we all have anger and we all take revenge.
Correct. Okay.
If we have the ability to accept the anger within and accept that we are revengeful human beings as well, we usually try to say, oh no, we're not that. We're good people. I wouldn't do something like that. I'm a good person, is what we want to say. No. All of us exists darkness.
Yeah, but so are you saying there's varied layers of
Distinct expressions. Expressions. Like, for example, okay, again, not being not promoting murder.
Yeah.
But there's a certain commitment to a certain belief that the person has in that moment that allows that person to take another life. A certain commitment to something he or she believes in so strongly that he or she is willing to express, or they are willing to express that and be a stand for that level of क्या बोलते हैं, like मैं stand ले सकता हूँ किसी को मारने का.
Yeah, like that strong woman act.
And of course, we can channelize it in distinct ways in the society.
Yeah.
We can channelize the same energy in another direction, but you see the multiplication of that energy.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god, I'll take a stand for someone. I'll take a stand for my belief that this person needs to leave the earth. I'm that committed. हाँ ठीक है, हम लोग बोलेंगे good and bad. I'm again saying, leave that for a moment.
So then, okay, I get it that we all have like parts of us that are angry, revengeful, blah and blah, like so many different emotions. But still, if someone loved one gets murdered, how is that a reflection of the fact that like maybe they went and like took revenge on a friend for like eating their chocolate or something, or like went and ate someone's chocolate because their friend did something to them? Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, what I'm saying is we do, and I get it, that there's distinct levels of this emotion in each person. But then how is it that someone who has taken revenge on a very, like a much smaller scale would be a witness of, or would be a victim of murder? Like, I still don't get the reflection there. Like, if that happens in my life, what does that reflect within me?
First, again, we're looking at the act and comparing the measure of the act.
Okay.
If we do that, we completely miss the point.
Okay.
It is in the acceptance of the experience,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yes, anger, revenge exist.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, commitment, stand exists. Okay.
Okay.
It is in the acceptance of that experience that you could possibly get an access to forgiveness.
Okay.
Have you I watch a lot of crime documentaries since we're on the topic of murder. I watch a lot of crime documentaries. And the most powerful documentaries have been those where there was the father of the person, the victim. She was brutally raped and murdered.
Okay.
And he stands in court and he looks at the perpetrator and he's like, I don't know what must have happened in your life. And I'm sure it wasn't easy what had happened to you as a child. I'm sure something made you this way.
Mm-hmm.
And I know what you did to my daughter was not personal to her,
Mm-hmm.
but it was your own act of anger and revenge that you took on someone who hurt you back in the day. I acknowledge that and I forgive you. You're free. I no longer choose to hold grievances for what you've done to my daughter.
Oh, wow.
And that person was just like, that person got the possibility of looking within themselves and reflect as to why they did what they did.
Okay.
Before that, the possibility did not exist because in society it's wrong. Nobody would even have the compassion to look at the murderer and say, hey,
That's so and that's so difficult. That was so beautiful, but that's so difficult.
yeah, it is difficult. I'm a very righteous person. I have a lot of opinions as to what is right and what is wrong. But I've noticed that my opinions do not mean too much. Everybody has an opinion, like opinions to thok ke bhav pe bickte aaj.
Yeah, of course, yes.
But what is the access that you could possibly have in order to make your world one with mine?
That's understanding who you are at the core. Like
Yeah.
that's what you mean by being.
Yeah.
Got
Like
it.
here in your questions, I can get you're not like murder is not something that has happened around you or with you, but you feel so distinct to it because the experience of betrayal is so strong.
Correct.
You don't want to stand for injustice and betrayal. If I can listen to that, and I can possibly reach or touch a chord with you that can make you listen and not get a possibility to look beyond murder as an act, but look at murder as something of a helplessness, something of a stand, something of pain, something of anger. And then when you can see that shit, if within me exists pain, anger, stand, suppression, betrayal, revenge, manipulation, the more you accept it here, the more power you have to deal with it there.
Okay. Got it.
It's not that जो हो रहा है वो इसके लिए हो रहा है क्योंकि मैं भी वैसा मैंने भी वैसा किया है वो भी है. I'm not saying that, like you said ना कि am I being cheated? What was that question?
The question was like, we get cheated by people for money, in relationships, so many ways. But like I feel I've never, at least जानबूझ के or like on purpose, I've never cheated anyone. Then why do I get cheated?
Yeah. If you okay, understood your question. But if you look closely, we're very convenient as human beings, okay?
Okay.
Where we don't see where we have cheated, we see where we've not cheated.
Okay.
Where like we are very, we brush through our moral compasses. We just like thread through, and we're like, but ये तो गलत नहीं था. Or we were on a break, or we have all of these justifications that exist in our head. But the more we can accept ourselves as good as well as bad, and bad being an essential part of being human,
Yeah.
the more we can accept that this is also me, right?
Yeah.
The more power we have to deal with the other.
Correct. So I'm not even denying the fact that, people may have experienced a feeling of being cheated through me,
Yeah.
even though I may not have meant to cheat them, right?
Yeah.
But then how is that reflecting in my world with people who mean to cheat me?
How do you know that they mean it and you didn't mean it?
Like if you're taking someone's money, like out of their purse, let's say, okay, you know you're doing it. It's not like you didn't mean to do it. It's not like you bumped into them and oh, that money fell out or something.
Correct.
So that's what I'm saying.
Correct. But that person is not saying मेरे को चांदनी से पैसा उठाने का मेरे को चांदनी से पैसा उठाने में मजा आने वाला है और चांदनी से पैसा उठा के मेरा लाइवलीहुड चलता है नहीं 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 नहीं
Okay.
that person is like मुझे पैसा चाहिए or that person is like whatever he's a crazy person, he's a kleptomaniac and kleptomania was caused because of XYZ shit in his past or her past or their past. It was caused because of all of those things.
Okay.
It's a reflex, it's a behavior of that projection. You're simply being screwed in the process.
Okay.
Their intention is not personal, like, oh my god, I'm going to screw this girl's case.
But there are, like, I get what you're saying. Like, generally, people's intentions are to get their, like, whatever they need to get fulfilled.
Yeah.
That's what they
Yeah.
do these acts for.
Yeah.
But what about people who are like, no, I want to screw her happiness, not anyone else's, hers. So then, how does that?
Does this happen to you a lot?
It does. It does.
So if it's happening a lot, tell me why.
That's what I'm asking you.
Why is it happening? Why is it happening that so many people you believe have a vendetta against you?
Mm.
What are they going to get from it?
I don't know. I just feel very unfortunate. Like when that happens, I just feel like I'm so unfortunate. Like this doesn't happen to everyone. Why does it happen to me?
I'm so sure it doesn't happen to everyone, okay, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, I feel it. I feel like when I look at, maybe people don't talk about it, or maybe, but when I look at like my friend circle or my relatives or whatever, like I don't feel like they go through the same amount of shit that I go through on a personal basis, like people having personal vengeance towards me. And I never understand where that came from, because in my heart, knowingly, I don't have a personal vengeance towards anyone. So I get very triggered when someone says like, that's a reflection.
Yeah.
Because then I feel like, no, but how is that fair? Like I don't, okay, गलती से हो गया, उन्होंने जानबूझ के नहीं किया, वो समझ में आता है.
You want me to hit your heart?
I'm scared. But okay, yes.
This is because you believe you are unworthy of love and you don't deserve anything good in life. This behavior on the outside is a reflection of your world within. Because that word says, I'm unworthy of love and I don't deserve happiness. Are those tapes in your head?
Yeah, they do go on.
This is a reflection of those tapes.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So basically, you're saying that what I believe about myself
It's what
is
people
reflecting.
reflect.
So because I believe I'm so unfortunate like this,
Yeah, you believe you're unfortunate.
I see that in my reality.
You see people physically manifesting it. You see people physically acting.
Yeah.
And solidifying your belief.
Okay, got it. That makes total sense.
And it traps you further into that reality. It doesn't allow you to break free. It traps you further into that reality that, yes, see, oh my god, I am unfortunate.
Yeah, the more times it happens,
The more time, the evidence is creating itself because you are attracting exactly that. Because the belief is so strong. We need to go to the moment the belief was created and dissolve the moment, the source of that belief.
I see. Okay.
Because this belief comes from somewhere. You weren't born and you were like,
Correct. Yeah.
ये लो आपका अनवर्दी बच्चा. ऐसे नहीं बोला था आपका बच्चा चांदनी है, ये अनवर्दी होने वाला है और इसके साथ बिलीफ रहने वाला है कि इनको कोई प्यार नहीं देने वाला है और ये अनफॉर्चुनेट है. ऐसे तो नहीं था ना. ऐसे क्रिएट हुआ ना कभी. तो ये क्यों क्रिएट हुआ? Is the moment of dissolving.
So you're saying our likes and dislikes give us access to figure out these moments?
Yeah. Our likes and dislikes just show us how we look at the world.
Okay.
And we can literally see people mirroring what we like and what we dislike. Have you noticed that we're close to some people and we instantly have a connect?
Mhm.
Because we're like, either we're aspiring to be like them, okay, oh, I like this quality about this person, so I want to be like this person. Or, this is similar between us, so I like this person, now we're friends. And then on the other end, like, oh man, this person is so blunt. I dislike people who are blunt. I dislike blunt as a quality. You're not comfortable with being blunt, for example. So you will be like, oh, I don't like that person.
Yeah.
And then we're like, then we say to ourselves, no, I have a very proper.
Yeah, and we make it like righteous.
Then we make it become very righteous.
Yeah.
That just limits our world. No problem in doing all of this. It's just limiting our world. Because when you're a baby, you're not like a child, when you're not judging कि मैं किसके पास जाऊँगा, किसके पास नहीं जाऊँगा. You're not judging. You're like, you do what you feel like doing.
Yeah.
You want to hit someone, you feel like to do it. I mean, I'm not saying please hit people and all. Please get
Don't
the
hit
sense
people.
of the communication and not the. Yeah. So you're free, but as you grow older, you get limited because you start looking at your likes and your dislikes, and those start defining your world rather than you defining your world. Rather than you distinguishing your world and defining your world.
Okay. So I've heard of something else too. Like you just said, we define our world. And they say like we have different worlds or different realities.
Yeah.
Like a lot of us who are in these fields of self-growth or spirituality, we have heard these things. So it's basically like my glasses
Your glasses.
create my reality.
Yeah. It's as simple as that. There is no one reality.
And that is why, like, if I feel I'm unfortunate, I keep getting betrayed in the outside world.
Correct.
And if you don't even see that. And you're like, what the hell is she talking about?
Yeah. Oh my god, why is Chandni's experience of betrayal so strong? Yeah. ऐसा क्यों दुनिया ने बुरा कर दिया उसके साथ?
Yeah, and then you feel like the victim.
Oh.
But actually, it's you doing it to yourself.
Yeah.
They're just showing you a mirror.
That's just-
Wow. So then if we get access to these, like when we look at these likes and dislikes, and we see how we're limiting our own worlds, we can kind of shift that
Yeah.
and then shift our reality.
Yeah. It gives you an access to see yourself.
Okay.
And then you'll be like, hey, 1 second, because I was noticing the likes that I had 6 years ago versus the likes that I have now are completely distinct.
Oh yeah, true, of course.
You're shifting, but you're allowing that to then give you, like, it just confines you in a way. If you give it too much importance and if you're using it as the source of your decision making, it just keeps, then you keep making it tighter till you feel like, oh wait, what? Why are so many people going away from me? Or why am I constantly attracting the experience of abandonment? Or why am I constantly attracting the experience of betrayal or rejection? You can see your patterns through your likes and dislikes. You can start seeing your reality through your likes and dislikes.
That's so cool.
It is pretty cool. I like this work.
Yeah, that's why my top like is I like honesty and I dislike betrayal.
Yeah.
Because those are the two things. So that means that when I feel someone's being slightly dishonest with me, I'm like, peace out.
Peace. I need to protect myself.
Yeah,
We create this because we want to protect ourselves.
absolutely.
We're like, oh no. Like mine was inauthenticity.
Uh-huh.
My biggest like was authenticity, sorry. And my biggest dislike was I was like bullshit. I just put it,
Yes.
so you can call it inauthenticity in a way.
Okay.
So if I find people being pretentious, I'm like, blah, blah,
Yeah.
nikal.
Yeah.
That's it. And when I find people being real, I'm like, I love you.
Yeah.
Okay, but then what started happening was I used to I used to think I have a bullshit radar. And I used to think that, oh, this person's just fake. So I don't want to listen to this person. And then I would just remove them. You know what it did? Of course, that person's out. I'm justified that uska this thing. But what it does is, it doesn't allow me access in the sense that behind every bullshit, behind every inauthenticity, there lies a truth and there lies a lot. Like, every person is authentic in their core, right? Everybody is real, everybody has their own experiences. But if I have only shut it off for someone else, then who's their access?
Yeah.
But if I can have the compassion for my own inauthenticity and the times that I have been inauthentic and choose to integrate that part within myself, then I can possibly be like, why must this person be inauthentic? What are the guards of this person that this person fears judgment?
Okay.
When I reflect on myself and I notice the times that I have been inauthentic, I've been scared of being judged. And therefore I put on a front. And that front is what I call pretentiousness and inauthenticity.
Yeah.
Everybody puts on a front.
Yeah, of course.
But who's listening beyond the front?
So, like, who's getting deeper into why they actually became that?
Yeah. And only when you get it for yourself, like, only when I got it for myself, that I'm scared of judgment and I'm insecure as to what people will think of me if I'm not being a certain way. First of all, I don't know what being a certain way means. There's never a good enough.
Okay.
Like, I'll always be like, what is good enough? There's always a chase to like, oh, और भी कर सकते हैं, और भी कर सकते हैं. नहीं, मैडम, आपको inferior feel होता है, आप उसके साथ deal करो. आप good enough कोशिश मत करो. So, but if I can accept my inferiority that I experience, and if I can accept my own need to be protected against judgment, then I can listen to why people are inauthentic. Because I can listen to why I am inauthentic.
So you're also saying that because inauthenticity is a dislike of yours and betrayal is a dislike of mine, that means that's a part of us that we dislike the most as well.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because that's like a reflection of us.
Yeah.
So when we end up doing something that makes someone else feel betrayed or makes someone else feel that you're ingenuine, then you hate that.
You hate that. You don't want to see that. You hate it so much you don't want to see it, and then you want to convince yourself that it does not exist in you.
So true. And then you want to make yourself the victim.
And then you want to play,
Ah.
And like, oh, yeah, इसने गलत किया. नहीं, मैं तो protect कर रही थी खुद को.
You know what I found so beautiful about this work is that, especially on Instagram and social media these days, there's so many people who are like, oh, did they betray you? Tell them to get lost. Oh, if someone does not answer your texts, if someone does not answer your calls within one day, that means they don't love you. That means they don't have value for you. That means you don't need them in your life. Cut them off.
Yeah.
Like things like that. And these people have so many followers. And me, myself, I've gotten caught up in that. Like, oh, maybe that's the right way.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's what we... And why do we do it? Of course, to protect ourselves.
Yeah.
There's no other reason.
Yeah.
But this actually gives us a more humane access to have compassion. Like these people who are promoting those things, like, oh, cut people off and, you know, and I'm not saying like never, like if someone's been really detrimental to you, then keep your distance. But cutting people off for small reasons, or you know, being like having no compassion, or not no compassion. I don't know what the right word is.
It's just protection.
It is protection. It's like having no no acceptance. It's no acceptance for someone else's flaws.
Yeah.
We lose out on that acceptance for other people's flaws to protect ourselves.
Yeah, like one of the, this was a very early learning for me. I was, I think, 16 years old, no, 17 years old. And I was sitting in class and I realized that self-respect had become such a big part of who I was back then. So what had happened, I was in a relationship and I felt like I was just letting myself go in that relationship. relationship. Like I was just losing my identity, okay? Is what the experience was. I'm not saying that it is the truth. It was what my experience was, that I was losing myself, I was losing my identity. And then after so I tolerated in the relationship. And 2 years later, I'm like, done. It's done. I'm gonna find who I am, and I'm gonna, get on with my life, and I'm gonna wear my mini clothes and go clubbing, and that's who I am. And that's what I went into. And so funnily, what happened when I got into a relationship again? Self-respect had become such a righteous,
Correct. Yep.
like block. Like it had become. I had made self-respect my identity. I did not find who I really was. I did not find anything about myself, but I made self-respect such a heavy, righteous piece of who I am that in the next relationship, when I was dating that person, everything he said would be an attack on self-respect.
Yeah.
Like first I would measure ki, okay, I like it, compatible. Previous ke, comparison may not the same kind of principles, morals and everything. And then slowly things start coming up, and I was like, no, but how can he talk like that? Oh no, but how can he message his friends? Or like, no, can he not see that he's disrespecting me like this? Like there was no end to what I created in that world of respect. What defines respect and defines self-respect? You'll find most definitions talking about boundaries, and most definitions talking about protecting yourself, and most definitions talking about your self-worth. Do you know yourself to have self-worth, firstly? Do you? Nobody knows what they're worth. Nobody knows, because what your worth is way higher than what you can ever define it as. Sorry, it's getting a little preachy. But like, it's such a personal experience.
It's so true though.
Yeah.
It's the truth.
So I'm not, but what is the piece to get in this, right? The sense of the loss of self is so deep that you gotta protect yourself and you gotta create boundaries. There's nothing wrong with creating boundaries. All of us human beings do that. That's why it is called a personality, a mask in Latin. It's called a personality because you gotta wear a mask in order to live in the world.
Okay.
Now you're wearing a mask. Why do you need to wear a mask in order to live in the world? Because you got to protect yourself. This is something very innate. We've got to do this. We've got to play with the tools, and you can choose what tools you want to create for self, and you can call it your personality. Only when it turns into defense mechanisms, like such rigid defense mechanisms, is when you start feeling that, oh wait, am I getting too restricted?
Yeah.
Is this being too limiting? Because I was not like that when I was 14 years old, but I have grown up, and I've just become this person, like from being an extremely friendly, extroverted person, I'm now an introverted person who likes being by herself in her room watching Netflix. What happened?
Yeah.
And why do I need to protect myself such? So people who are talking about boundaries, right? It comes from the space of I've lost myself before, and never will I allow someone to take advantage of me because I don't want to be lost again. The question here to ask is, why did you lose yourself in the first place, and who was it that you lost?
Oh wow.
Who was that you lost, and why? Was anybody else allowed? You allowed a person to come in and mold your identity, right? Why was that allowance given? And it's not like that person had come with the agenda to mold your identity. That's not the person's. That person is existing in their own reality, and they're reacting and responding to their own reality. Byproduct is you get screwed. Like byproduct is you get love, byproduct is you get screwed. It's a range. Like nothing is so defined.
Yeah.
You get screwed, you get love, you get blah 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 blah. You get a range of emotions and all of that. But aapne kyun allow kiya? And talking from personal experience, I had no acceptance for myself, and I was yearning for acceptance. and I would mold myself in order to get validation from the other person,
Yeah.
so that I can feel worthy.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. So I put all of my pressure of being worthy and being accepted on my then boyfriend.
Okay. Yeah.
And then said, bro, you had the power, but you molded my identity, and now I'll stand for my self-respect. It's a self-created tool.
Yeah. And we say तू कमीना है.
तू कमीना है. नहीं भाई, तू कमीना नहीं
हम
है.
कमीने हैं इससे कभी नहीं बोलेंगे.
मैंने तेरे ऊपर प्रेशर डाला.
Yeah.
मैंने फुल मेरे
Yeah.
पूरे एग्जिस्टेंस का प्रेशर मैंने आपके कंट्रोल में दिया और आपने बोला बजाओ. फिर बोला क्यों बजाए?
Yeah.
Wow.
True.
But if we get that 1 second, what is not there is acceptance for self.
Yeah.
I truly don't know who I am, and I don't know what creates me, how I want to live life. I don't know the purpose. I don't know anything about my life. And most of all, I feel inferior, and I feel like I'm not good enough, and I feel unworthy, and I feel unloved. If you can accept these things about yourself rather than saying that I don't want to accept these things about myself, I don't want to feel inferior, I don't want to feel unloved, I don't want to feel unworthy, rather than in your actions fighting these emotions that you truly genuinely feel, just accept those emotions, and then you will notice that the other person doesn't have to attack those things. They're not attacking.
Yeah.
Like, they are not out there to attack.
Yeah.
But your perception is that of an attack.
Correct.
पूछ लो ना क्या मिलेगा उसको तुम्हें अटैक करके. पता नहीं. But हमें clarity कि उनका अटैक है.
Yeah.
कौन है ये कोई और? तुम्हारा मन, तुम्हारा दिमाग.
Basically, they are reacting to us from their realities.
Yeah.
We are experiencing them from our realities. And when we can look within ourselves as to what it is within us that's creating that experience of them in our reality, and when we heal that, or when we shift that belief, then our experience of them also shifts.
Yeah, definitely.
Which means that basically we are creating everything.
Okay.
And we're saying, hi, मैं तो इतनी बिचारी हूँ, मैं तो बहुत ऐसा करती थी. Before I came to Program for Life, I used to feel like such a bichari. Like, I used to feel like, why am I even alive? Why? Like, even God, God is like, I'm such a big victim. And I hate God. I don't know what the hell He created this world for.
Yeah.
Like, that's how deep I had gone into that.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't understand, like, knowing it. I had read so many books. I read so many books on self-help and blah, blah, blah. Like, all these things. But knowing something is different, and being able to experience that what you believe is actually what's outside of you is the access that Program for Life actually have given me. And I think that's what makes me love this.
Yeah. Most pertinent thing, like, you gotta accept yourself as the creator.
Yeah.
In human being. Like, it's written in the scriptures that firstly it's written among us.
Correct, yes.
And
who the hell knew what that meant? Like, who the hell? I always used to wonder, like, who really knows the answer? Because I would, like, try to search for it, and people would say such bullshit. And, it just screws your brain even more when you hear that type of bullshit. So then you just stop searching, and you just shut that off.
Yeah.
But when you can actually get clarity. I'm sorry, I cut you.
Yeah,
Please
no.
talk. Please talk.
And get yourself. You can use different metaphors to say it. Like, some say that we were created in God's image.
Yeah.
And some say that we are the universe, we're a reflection of the universe. Then, inquiry to ask is, who really are we as human beings? Like, if we're the reflection of the universe, this freaking ever-expanding entity, right? If we're a reflection of that, then who are we as human beings? And if we get that piece for ourselves, we get ourselves as the source of our life, as the center of our lives, and as the creator of our lives. Most important, because the theory of reflection does not stand if you don't get yourself as the protagonist, if you don't get yourself as the center. Then there's no reflection. Then तो सब लोग अपना कबाड़ साफ करने खेलने अपने कबाड़ों के साथ. I don't know if कबाड़ is a word, but
I got the point
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Ah, interesting. That's amazing. So reflection gives us access to being creators of our life. Otherwise, we're just like in this default of our pain and our blame
Yeah.
and our victim mode
Yeah.
that we all go into. Like, I don't think there's one person who's not like in victim mode at some point in their lives.
In creation and victimization. Right. There's a range, man.
But taking responsibility for that creation becomes difficult because that means you take responsibility for the shit
Correct.
in your life.
Yeah.
Everybody takes responsibility for the good things, right? Like, hey, I worked so hard, मेरी मेहनत से ये हुआ. But मेरी, stupidity से ये घोटाले हुए, वो किसी को नहीं बोलता है. So, yeah. Wow, that was really, really interesting.
I had fun.
It was
fun. I
really
was very
fun.
nervous.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
As our first podcast, I think it was great. And thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay.
And thank you guys.